Hello, in this video, I'm going to give you some expert strategies to help you improve your Super Mario 35 game and hopefully increase your win rate. We're going to go over several different points here, and this video assumes that you are familiar enough with the game to know that at a certain point, you usually won't die until the timer speeds up and forces you to die. Most of the strategies involved here are about reaching that speed up point and then maximizing how long you can survive when the timer starts going very fast. The first thing, and maybe the most important thing, is to have a strong start. You want to have 100 seconds or more banked by the end of the first level and to have collected almost every coin. To do this, you're going to target random opponents at first. You're going to collect power-ups and coins as you go and kill every enemy that you can. And then after you get this hidden one-up, switch to attacking opponents who are attacking you so that you are feeding each other all the time. Never go in this pipe before the one-up. You get about the same amount of coins as you would from the one-up, but you skip a lot of what is essentially a safe and profitable level. After the one-up, keep collecting coins. There's a power-up here that can get you extra time if you're already fully powered up, and there's a star here that you can use to bulldoze all those enemies that your co-attackers have been sending you. Coins are crucial. Stockpile as many as you can. There's lots of time early in the game, and if you're near the 400-second limit, go out of your way to avoid enemies and instead pick up more coins. The timer starts counting faster when there are 5 or fewer opponents left, and then continues to ramp up in speed. When you get to about 15 or 16 minutes, the timer will be ticking multiple seconds per single second of real time. In addition to the normal strategies involving killing enemies, you will be looking for other ways to kill them more efficiently or stop the timer. Eventually, you will be spinning the roulette wheel so that you can continuously run through the level and kill more enemies. This means that in the late game, having more coins banked equals having more time. On top of that, though, you need to pay attention to what actually stops the timer. Reaching a flagpole, going in a pipe, or entering a bonus area from a vine all briefly halt the timer, which is very valuable when 1 second takes 10 seconds off your clock. Furthermore, getting hit and getting powered up again both stop the clock. So while you're spinning through roulette wheel, it is okay to take hits regularly right before you are about to repower up, especially if it means you can keep moving through the level with your invincibility frames. Even if you are already powered up all the way, the mushroom and fire flower add seconds to your timer, so again, coins equal time. If you don't know who you are attacking and what power-up state they are in, don't assume that sending enemies to your opponent is hurting them. Most of the time, it is helping them by feeding them more time. A Bowser to someone with a star or fire flower is free time on their clock, not a hazard. The primary exception to this is Cheep Cheeps, which are hard to consistently kill and can knock players out of their jump midair. If someone is in a tight spot or is small, that's the real time to send them more dangerous enemies like Bowser or Hammer Brothers. If you're not paying attention to whether that would be a threat, assume that you are helping them instead. Let me repeat that. You are choosing who you are helping with your attacks. That means the only time you send enemies to the lowest time is when you don't have anyone attacking you and you're trying to provoke someone, because otherwise you're just giving them extra time. You are helping them. The same is true for coins. Most coins is a good measure of who is in the lead, so don't help them unless you're trying to get them to attack you, and then only do it briefly. When you're down to only a few players left, rather than strategically sending them enemies, it can be just as effective to strategically starve the opponent of enemies. If you're at 400 seconds, it's safe to assume they are not. Consider spending the next 30 to 50 seconds avoiding enemies instead. Get good at chaining bouncing on enemies. This gives you more time per enemy and thus is a more efficient way to give enemies to your opponents. This gets more and more important the fewer opponents there are. Aside from 1-1, levels with warp pipes are your best friend. 1-2 has a warp here, and often you can warp back to 1-2, which is safe and rewarding on the whole. And there are also warp pipes in 4-2. So setting up a warp loop to repeat the same level over and over again is a very strong strategy because you just want to be in safe and profitable levels for as long as you can and avoid levels like castles and cheap levels and levels with giant holes in them. And that's it. Stay safe around holes, stockpile coins so you can afford to be cautious in the late game, and pay attention to how and when you are killing enemies, and you will do much better on the whole in Super Mario 35. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing.